and edited your activity and uploaded into the cloud. Now in this video, I will show you what kind of reports or what kind of data you can see on the cloud. Once the sync is done, you can refresh your cloud page and automatically you should see the latest activity coming up. You can check the activity name and the activity date here. If you don't see it, you can also go to the left activity selector and select the activity that you want to view. Just remember, if you only want to see one activity, please do not tick the box here. Otherwise, it will select multiple activities. For example, if I want to see the activity on the 12th of October, if I click the box here, it will actually select two activities. So the right way to do it is to click directly on the name here, and then it will show you just this one activity. Okay, and now I can see the timeline. I already splitted some periods here, and down here you can see several tabs here. Each tab, we can call them a dashboard. These are fully customizable and these are pre-built here. You can change them in the future or you can create more dashboards if you like. You can change them, you can add as many as you want. You can also rename them. You can right click and rename them, whether call it training report or you can add your own local language as well. So in this case, I'll add Chinese here. Okay, I'll walk you through what's in this session report. Just remember, everything here is customizable. You can rename them, you can change the format. For example, here you can also change it to something like training report if you like. And on the right, it will show you how many players are in this activity and what is the average active duration of this activity. And here you can see a simple summary of the team's average. This is the team average distance per minute, average high intensity running distance, and the average accelerations and decelerations. Again, you can change the naming here. For example, I can go to the widget settings, I can add some explanations or I can add other languages as well. Okay, and down here is what's really powerful once you have a lot of data. So here is basically a benchmark or a percentage. For example, you can collect five matches or 10 matches data, and you can use the match data as your reference. And then if you go to other training sessions, if I go to this training session, it will show you, okay, today's training you have 1,800 meters, which is 25% of your game average. And it's the same for high intensity running distance. You have run 98 meters for high intensity running, which is 16.6% of your match average. And as long as you collect enough data, we can build the average. But it's an advanced feature, so I will show you how you can do it by yourself in the later videos. Now let's go ahead with this session report. Down here is a table of the team summary. I put the players' data, I put the players into different position groups, attacker, defender, and midfielder. And then it will show you total distance, total duration, total distance, distance per minute, high intensity distance per minute, high intensity distance, total sprint distance, maximum speed, accelerations, decelerations, running imbalance, and the maximum intensity 1 minute distance. Again, you can change the naming here. You can go to the widget settings and go to the parameter tab. You can right click here and you can change it to your own language, or you can add another language as well. Or if you don't like the naming of maximum velocity, you can right click and rename it as max speed. Okay. By default, the high speed or high intensity is above 19.8 kilometers per hour, but you can change it if you like. If you want to change your velocity zones, you can go to the settings, bands, and velocity. So you can see by default, we have 5.5 meters per second for zone 4 and 7 meters per second for zone 5. You can also change the unit here to kilometers per hour. For example, if you want to change it to 20, then you can just type 20. And if you want to change sprint to 25, then you can change it to 25 and enter. So now this has been changed. But here I won't change it. I'll keep using it. Okay, let's go back to the session report. This is a summary table, and it also shows you the average of each position. Down here is the football movement profile per drill. So remember, we divided the drills, we split the drills into warm-up, session, and rehab. Here we can see what is the movement profile, or what is the moving pattern of each drill. The gray means very low intensity, so basically they are not really moving. The blue means it's low intensity, so that means they are walking. And the green ones are the linear running duration. So that means, for example, in this rehab, 26% of the time they are doing linear running, straight line running. And the red ones, dynamic movement, which is non-linear movement like accelerations, decelerations, change of directions, jumping, having impacts, these sort of movements. So you can quickly see what are the patterns of each drill. And then down here on the left, you have a summary. You have the team's average for each drill, distance and distance per minute. And then on the right is the distance and distance per minute of each player, and sorted by total distance. Down here you have the same. On the left is the team average for each drill. On the right is the data for each player. So the orange bar here is the high speed, which is 19.8 to 25.2 kilometers per hour distance. And the red bars are the sprint distance, which is above 25.2 kilometers per distance. And down here it's accelerations and decelerations, and explosive efforts, and maximum speed per player. And you should have running imbalance per player as well. So that means when the player is running in straight line, is his body or his legs leaning towards left or leaning towards right? And then on the right, you can see the movement profile per athlete. Okay, so this is a very basic session report. Again, you can try to build it by yourself. You can also copy this dashboard and try to do some editing by yourself here. Now I'll delete this one. And if it is a match, you can also use the match report. Let me find a match day. The main difference is the team summary here. Instead of showing the team average, it is showing the team total. Why we are using the team total is because you have substitutions during matches. So imagine if you make the average of a player who's playing 90 minutes and a player who only played 10 or 20 minutes, the average will be lower, right? So instead of team average, we are making team total here. And then down here, it's very similar to the session report. You have the table summary and you have the movement profile for both first half and second half. And you have data for both first half and second half and each individual player. And the next one is the longitudinal report. It's only useful when you have a lot of data, especially if you collect data for each session. No matter it's match or training, you collect data for every for every session. Ideally, you will be able to see the periodization over time. So on the left is the team's average distance for the last, for example, 30 days or 60 days. You can change the filter. And on the right is distance per minute or intensity in a certain period of time. And down here, you can see the weekly accumulated load for your team as well. But this is only sample data because at the beginning, your team doesn't have any real data yet. But after 1 month or maybe 2 months, if you want to see your own team's data, you can go to this longitudinal report and you can change the filter here. So now I'm looking at last 50 activities. You can delete this filter and you can select, okay, show me the last 30 days of data. So type 30 and add the filter and click done. Now you don't see anything because we don't have any recent data. But once you have your own data, you can change the filter and see your own data here. The last one in this video I want to show you is the individual report. So here, if you go to the individual tab, you'll see a different type of report. The first thing is you want to select the player that you want to report on. So on the left, you'll see all the players are here. If you want to select just one, you can go to the right and just pick, for example, player number 10. Now it shows, okay, this is just player number 10, and this is showing just player number 10's data for the selected activity. And you would have a breakdown of the session. And also you have a breakdown of this player's past data. Again, here is only sample data. If you want to see your own data, you can go to the filter and delete the filter and change it to no matter how many days that you want to see, maybe the last 14 days or 30 days, you can change the filter here. Then on the right is the ACWR chart, the acute and chronic load ratio. By default, I'm selecting player load. You can also select other parameters like distance or high speed running distance. Again, once you have real data, you can change the filter here and select how many days of data you want to see. And the last one here is the maximum speed or maximum acceleration over time. Again, you can change to other parameters that you want to look at.